Box shadows. Okay, this is a really, really cool one. So let's go ahead and create a new box here. And I'm going to actually get rid of all of this, and let's delete that and delete that. And let's create a new element on our page with the ID of box. So BOX, and I hit tab because it shows Emmet abbreviation, shows me what it's going to be. And that's all I'm going to do. Now I've got a div. We know it's a block element, and I can select that ID with box. And I can say the width of this box is going to be 200 pixels. The height of this box is going to be 200 pixels. And the border is going to be 1 pixel solid black. And let's not make it 1 pixel. Let's make it 2 pixels. And we're just going to see a black box on our page, just like that. Now what I can do here, and we're going to start using a lot of components together, is I can add a background image. And let's add the URL. And let's add Chewy in there. Let's say the background position has to be center and center. And let's say background size needs to be cover. Let's see what this looks like now. Okay, so we filled it with a background image. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and add a border radius of 0 on the top, 50% on the top right. The bottom right is going to be 0, and the bottom left is going to be 50% as well. So it's going to look somewhat like a leaf, like that. And I think I might have said that backwards. So this is top left, top right, bottom left. Now with a box shadow, we can say box shadow, and this is a very interesting one. So we want the x-axis, the y-axis, and the color. So on the x-axis, let's move this over 10 pixels. On the y-axis, let's move this over 10 pixels. And the color, let's make this red, just so it's obnoxious. And we have some sort of box shadow. Now, that's not bad. I don't mind that. But let's say, we didn't want such a hard line there. Let's say we wanted to blur it a little bit. We can say x, y, and then as a blur value, we can say, let's say 5 pixels of blur, and then change it to red. And we can see that it gets a little blurry there. We can actually make this significantly blurrier too. Let's do 15 pixels. There we go. Now, that sort of suggests that there's like some sort of light over here. Let's go ahead and change that x to like 2 pixels. So that's going to move right 2 pixels, and then it's going to move down 2 pixels, the y-axis. And we have some sort of glow back here. So that's looking pretty good. Now there's one other thing we can do. Let's go ahead and get rid of that blur. And that's what our border looks like. We can also say inset. So give it a box shadow on the inside, so it looks like it's a little bit hollow. Look at that. So that's not bad. Now that's red. Let's go ahead and add 444, 444, so a dark-ish color. And let's change these 2 pixels and go to selection, add next occurrence. Let's make these 6 pixels each, inset, and a dark gray color. There we go. That's working on the inside. And we can also blur this. So before inset, we can say 5 pixels. So we can say move it on the x-axis, 6 pixels, y-axis, 6 pixels, blur every pixel by 5 pixels. Inset means the box shadow is going to be on the inside, and then we set the color. And let's go ahead and refresh, and we can see now there's some form of a blur in there. Let's go ahead and make that blurrier. There we go. And so now we're sort of working with all of these individual components, or these declarations, and we're making it bigger into this bigger image component called a box. And it's called a box because I gave it the ID of box. It doesn't have to be called box. We could call it leaf. And we'll see nothing changed. So again, your box shadow goes X, Y, blur, if it's inset or not, and then the color. What I would like you to do is give this a shot. Create a square. You don't have to do all of this stuff, but create a square, let's say 100 pixels by 100 pixels. Go ahead, give that a box shadow. Set your x-axis, your y-axis, your blur value, make it inset and not inset, so toggle them on and off, and then add a color.